y'all. We got another food stamp video. We're going to listen to it, and then we're going to come back with our commentary.
I feel like food stamps should be mandatory for mothers that have one or more child. Stay with me now. If we are qualified to receive a certain amount of money during tax time, as long as we don't go over that income bracket, we should qualify for food stamps every month for these children. I have 2 boys. Food hate to see them coming. When I say I stay in Walmart, Walmart need to go ahead and sponsor me. Because I be up in there every other day. I just made groceries a few days ago. I had to go back to the store today. So all I'm saying is, if we are entitled to claim our children on our income taxes every year so we can receive a little bit of extra money, I need the government to have that same energy, and I need them to give us at least $100 per child.
Just for me, it was kind of a little hard to understand her, no offense. From what I took from this, it seemed like she was upset about the cuts that Trump is putting towards food stamps.
She was basically saying that it should be mandatory to receive food stamps if you have children.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But so you want to take the
right?
You
so
start off?
She was saying that it's kind of mandatory for people who have children to receive food stamps. Now, you may have children, yes, but are the children the responsibility of the government? Really, they're not, right? Mm-hmm. Why do you keep having more children is beyond anybody's comprehension at this point. For the fact that you're having the kids thinking that the government will definitely support, you and your children is kind of crazy.
Right.
You want $100 per child? Like, I know $100 really don't take you nowhere as far as food and supplies and stuff like that. But for you to even say that you want $100 per child, as if it's the government's responsibility. Did you have intercourse with the government? Did you have intercourse with somebody within the government to say that it's their job to now take care of your responsibility? I'm not being harsh about what I'm saying.
Was the government in your bedroom while you were making the kids?
Correct. I mean, I'm not being harsh about what I'm saying. I'm just pretty much stating the facts that you should not be so obligated to feel like you should put your feet up and stay within a budget, a financial income budget, so that you can qualify for something to take care of yourself and your children. I think that part right there is a little bit of entitlement, and you kind of need to grow up a little bit and stop having children.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, got a text. I'm sorry. Everything my husband said is absolutely correct. I agree. Miss Shay, now you know better. You know better than turning on that camera and getting on here talking that craziness. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you. Okay, we're not gonna only just come at her. We're just gonna talk overall, right? Now, first of all, I remember she said during tax time, you're able to claim your children and you get some earned income credit. Right. Now, that's 2 different things, right?
Yeah.
Earned income credit.
She want both. That's how greedy she is.
But earned income, she would like both, yes.
Yeah.
But earned income credit is different, right?
Yeah,
it's a refundable tax for a
you
low
overpay
income.
The government.
No, well, it's a refundable tax for low to moderate income tax earners, people who pay into the system. Yes. Right? You don't make a sufficient amount, so therefore they give you a little something to supplement with the kids that so on and so forth.
That you chose to have.
Right. But when it comes down to the food stamps, that's taxpayers' money. That's a difference.
Correct.
Okay? So they're not the same. That's number one. Mm-hmm. I feel that a lot of times before we come out and we make statements, we need to do some more research. We need to do some more research, and we definitely need to make sure we have our ducks in a row, and we need to cross our T's and dot our I's. Google is a thing that's available to almost everybody. Not even almost,
Right.
but everybody.
As long as
in
you have
this
a
world.
phone service,
Right?
a phone plan, you're
You
gonna
can
have
go to a
Google.
library.
It's
It don't
free.
even matter.
Yeah.
But I feel like before you turn on the computer or your phone and you get onto any social media platform, you need to do your due diligence. Because if you say something that is not factual, right? It's not objective. You didn't check to see. You didn't check the facts, basically. Long story short,
Yeah.
you're gonna be out here just saying a lot of
Wrongfully accused.
wrongful things, uncommon
making a
things
lot
that
of-
just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
And in
but-
some
yeah.
instances, people
get it.
tend to jump on the bandwagon of
Everything that people say, whether it be
stuff that doesn't make
Factual or
sense,
not.
right? To be nice, I'm gonna be nice.
Right.
You're giving privilege at this point, right? Because if you're gonna be asking for the administration to give $100 per kid to each family because food hates to see your kids coming. Well, then if food hates to see your kids coming, then you need to stop having kids. In a nutshell, you have to stop having kids. That's nobody's responsibility. If you have kids, it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility whether or not if you could afford public school, private school. It's your responsibility in how they're raised. And this is why certain cultures,
Right.
and I say it with the utmost admiration, certain cultures, they don't play around. The amount of kids that they have, it's planned out.
Of course.
Okay? Because
There's
they
a cutoff
know,
point.
yes, they know that, okay, I might be a millionaire, but I'm only able to substantiate
Right.
1 kid, 2 children.
Based on their time and their availability.
Not only
to-
time and
be
availability.
there for that
Time and
child.
availability is a factor,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But also they want to give that child the best quality of life.
Of course.
The best quality of life. Okay? Education, recreation, being able to substantiate when it comes down to their livelihood, food, clothing, right? Anything it doesn't matter.
Of course.
Setting up trust funds,
Yes.
setting up bank accounts, having tuition money for when they want to go to college, grad school, and so on and so forth.
You need
Maybe
to-
they might want to open a business,
Correct.
right? They're trying to create legacy.
Or even
That's-
a down payment on their first home.
that too,
You gotta-
paying
you
for
gotta be
a
prepared
big
for those
wedding.
things.
It's like they want to make sure that this child, before they even come out of the womb, that they are going to
Secured.
be secured.
Yeah.
They're going to be financially taken care of without having to lean on the government for not a shilling, pence, or cent. And a lot of us have to start paying more attention to certain cultures and kind of modulating what it is that they're doing.
Right.
Because
Kind of don't hate what
if
you do.
they're
Don't
not
hate what you
doing
don't understand. I'm
right,
sorry.
if they're not doing what our culture is doing,
Right.
meaning terrorizing the neighborhoods, being envious enough
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
and rob somebody for their sneakers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Being envious enough or jealous enough or being put in a hard place to the point where they're robbing people because they don't have food in their house.
Yeah.
Right? If they're doing that, then that means that you're failing in some way and aspect. You are failing. If your kids have to rob either another child or stick up a grown adult, damn it, you're failing.
Yeah.
You're failing. You cannot provide for your child in the way in which
can
they
barely-
need to
they
be
can barely-
provided for.
barely
So
provide
then
for themselves.
stop having kids.
Right.
You got to. Or if you do decide to have kids, you have to make sure that you have these things in checked. Okay? In checked. You need to make sure that you're financially, emotionally, socially, physically, and did I say psychologically or emotionally? Same thing. Capable and able, willing and ready
To keep that roof over everybody's head.
to have that child. They don't just need you financially, they need you psychologically, they need you emotionally, socially, and
yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
Because you have to be, once you have a child, you have to be their everything.
Yes.
You have to teach them everything from the time they come out of the womb up until they're about maybe 20, even 30 something years old.
Yeah. It becomes your
right?
biggest, your
And a
biggest
lot of
second
us,
job.
we're not ready financially to have kids, but we keep having them 5, 6, 7 kids to do what?
Yeah.
To do what? You can't take care of them, so why are you having them? Everybody's stuck in public school. You know what I'm saying? You don't have sufficient food in the house. You don't even have sufficient time or the energy to even put them together to make them look presentable.
Wow, yeah.
Okay?
That's true.
No, we talking today on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are fucking up in so many different situations. And I know this is just a welfare a food stamp video.
It's bigger than
But
that.
it's a lot of this shit creates a trickling effect. Okay? If you are able, willing, and ready to have children, during marriage or whatever it is, you're not going to have to ever lean upon the system for any type of supplemental income.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have to lean upon the system for nothing. You're going to be self-reliant. You're going to be reliant on one's self. And that's what we have to start doing better. In order to make changes and not turn on the camera and make these crazy videos talking about people need to give us, taxpayers don't need to give you nothing. What you need to give yourself
It's a condom.
is education and knowing when the time is right, and have your kids when you're able to afford them. That's what you need. Mm-hmm. To have kids when you're able to afford them, not before. I'm sorry, not before, because I gotta call it what it is. You become a burden and your kids become a burden, and that's not good. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The fact that we are having so many kids and we have no control over these kids, they're starting to terrorize every neighborhood.
Yeah, because the things that they want and desire, they just can't get it from home. Mm-hmm. So they have to go out and do these extras
in order to get it. And
so
not to mention some of the parents who are having them, they don't have it right up here, because if you have financial problems and you're in a financial deficit, you're not going to be at your happiest.
Right.
So you're going to be stressing about, how am I going to pay this bill? How am I going to pay this? How am I going to pay that?
Well,
and that the influx of negativity is then pushed onto the kids.
Right, but
so they're always in a hostile environment,
of course,
because your ass is always hostile.
Correct, yeah. But a lot of times when it comes down to those type of stress of the parent feeling that they cannot financially provide for themselves, that's the way out. They have these kids, and then the system pays you more.
That's another thing.
For more kids that you have,
yeah.
Not only do you get food assistance, you get cash assistance as well.
Mm-hmm. So and then you get housing and medical insurance.
Right, that kind of ease up their strain and stress as far as them not being able to provide.
To an extent, because you got to still understand that even if you have, let's say hypothetically speaking, 9 kids, right? Mm-hmm. And you're getting about $4,500 in food stamps, and maybe they gave you a $3,000 voucher for Section 8 and housing, and all you have to pay, you get cash assistance.
It's $800.
And all you have to pay might be $500 a month out of your cash assistance. Still, you're still below the poverty line.
Yeah.
It may seem like a lot for a person who ain't never had shit, but you're still below the poverty line, because you gotta keep in mind, if you need at least a million plus to take care of one child, we're now talking about, if you have 9 kids, you need at least a good 10 million to take care of 9 kids.
Yeah, of course.
So you're still below. You know what I'm saying? So
everything is.
But a lot of them, they feel like they hit it big, because I ain't gotta pay for housing, I ain't gotta pay for light and gas, and I don't have to pay for this, and I don't have to pay for that. But you're still below the poverty line, and that's why you have 9 kids, 5 sons, 4 daughters, and out of your 5 sons, 4 of them are running around the neighborhood doing a bunch of BS.
So that's that budget that she's referring to when she said they need to stay below the budget in order to qualify. Right. So
it's just a lot. So Ms. Shay, no $100 stipends and food stamps, because the refrigerator or the food hates to see your kids coming. Instead, maybe you gotta pick up some extra work, or where's the daddy? Where's your husband or your baby father or whatever? You guys
Right,
may
because
have to work.
we noticed
yeah,
that there was no conversation about the other party.
the second party. But you guys gonna have to figure it out. They're gonna have to. They're growing boys, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that they should eat less. You should have a sufficient amount of everything to substantiate for what your kids need. That's life. We got some kids too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And our 24-year-old, he's self-sufficient, went to college. He's about to go to law school, right? And we have money put aside for him and, you know, his education, of course. And then we have a 14-year-old who is soon to be 15. And when I tell you he can eat, he can eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's a growing kid, a teenager.
You're not going to deprive any child from eating.
And we go to
unless
Walmart.
it becomes ridiculous and then they become obese, then it'd be like,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
We go to Walmart as well.
And we're not asking for no sponsors.
No, we go to Walmart, to be quite frank, 5 times a week.
Right.
We go to Walmart 5 times a week, and Costco's maybe about 3 times a week.
Of course.
And each time we go, it's no less than about $150. And that's on a light day.
You're right.
On a usual day, we're spending about $400. It is what it is. As fast as you buy the food is as fast as it leaves the house.
Of course,
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But that's our responsibility is all I'm saying.
Correct.
And that's just basically it in a nutshell. But think before you react. Think about, am I willing? Well, not willing. Think about the fact that, are you financially, emotionally, physically, and socially ready to have children?
Right.
It's a major responsibility. It's a major responsibility. Don't pay attention to these little girls out here. Oh, I'm going to try to keep him, so I'm going to go out there and get pregnant so he could be my baby daddy. He cute. That's bullshit.
It's not a guarantee.
That's not how that is going to... Don't trust me when I tell you. Not to mention, not to go off topic, but the STD rate is too high to be risking it all. To all my ladies out there, wait until it's the right time. If you ain't physically ready, mentally and emotionally ready,
financially
socially ready, and most of all financially ready, keep them legs crossed and closed. And that's all the advice I got for my ladies out there. Now let's jump on into some of the comments. Let's see what they said. 6.5 thousand people said Uncle Sam is not the baby's daddy. True.
Right. Well, we were saying. Right.
Food stamps should only be for veterans, disabled, and elderly people. Definitely, I agree. This is the stupidest post ever. Nobody told you to have children with all this available birth control. Girl, bye. Well, they're absolutely correct. There's a ton of birth control out there. Somebody else said, nah, America says get a job. And somebody was obviously cracking on her vernacular. What's a cheering? You know, different places.
Everybody's going to speak differently.
Different people in different places speak differently.
It's not for nobody to make fun of anyone.
Right.
Yeah, the comprehension of certain things. Don't hate what you don't understand.
Right.
Just kind of like learn it. You know, we all got to learn from each other at the end of the day. It's just what I'm saying.
That's another thing. Work on
your vernacular
pronunciation.
Yes.
Work on making complete sentences. You don't have to go to a school or anything for that. Go online, go to different, come on, let's go. Come on. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Get online, and instead of looking for drama, pull up certain things that's going to help to educate you and make you, if you ain't that bright here, at least when you speak, it would sound a lot.
Correct.
It would sound better.
And pretty much in closing right now, we just want to say that this video was not intended to
bash anybody,
disrespect, anything of that nature. This is self-awareness. This is just for certain individuals in order to be able to be respected in just about every setting.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I see where you're going with this. This is a video to actually help you out.
Right.
It's not to bash you or bash anybody who's thinking like Miss Shay, but it's more so to help you get a bigger picture, right? A picture of clarity, a bigger perspective.
Right.
And we want you to be the best version of yourself that you possibly could be.
Correct.
Right? If you have children already, at this point in time, if you can't substantiate, we had a whole spiel about what we just, about having children and not being able to take care of them in different aspects and capacities and so on and so forth. So now it's up to you to make the right decision. And yes, for those of you who already have children, you're going to have to try to figure out how to be a little bit more self-sufficient and self-reliant. But as my husband said, it's not to bash anybody, but instead it's to give you insight in order to become a better version of yourself.
Right.
And
So
to be
that you
honest
can
with
move
you,
forward.
some people might not even know that they're on the wrong path. Because when
Right.
she turned on the camera, she thought she was like, you know what I'm
On the
saying?
right path,
On the right
of
path.
course.
She figured maybe more people weren't going to agree with her.
Right.
Right?
So don't get offended by making these videos. These
Keep
videos
making the
sometimes
videos.
will help you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not there to insult you. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of negative comments and you're going to have some good ones too. But at the end of the day, what you should do is learn from it.
Exactly.
All right?
And that's
So
about
until
it.
next time, we definitely will catch you guys with another great video.
Talk to you later.